So here we are live once again. Last week at 8 o'clock, I thought I was live and I wasn't. Took me 15 minutes to get that figured out, thanks to Elno. But this week, as far as I can tell, we're actually live. So welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk, folks. If you're new here, we do this every Friday, going over some of the tech stories between last Friday and this Friday. And if you're new here, please say something in the comments. Let us know who you are and where you're from. And we're glad to have you here. Eleanor was the first one in. She was in here a little bit after 7. And a couple of minutes after her, Brian was in also. Those two are usually the first two in. So that's great that they're so faithful. So every week we go over the stories on we have the show notes on my webpage. So I will show you guys that. Oh, also meant to mention that we are live on YouTube and we're live on the Mobile Geezer on X or Twitter, if you want to use the old name, and on Mobile Geezer and George Hayes on Facebook. So we simulcast on all 4 of those every week. And I usually like to tell you which phone I had with me today when I took to work today. And of course, we all know it's based on whichever watch I'm wearing. So today I have my SE watch, my Apple Watch SE. So of course I have my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And as my Android phone today, I had my OnePlus Nord N30. So just wanted to show you guys which 2 phones I had with me today. And I don't always have an iPhone and an Android phone, but about twice a week I have both. So let's go take a look at my webpage so we can see tonight's show notes. So let me share here. All right, so if you want to follow along or click on any of the articles that I'm going to be reading, just go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. If you click on today's date, you'll get the show notes just for tonight's show. So as I do every week, I'll give you a little preview while we're here. There were no heavy-duty stories that I'm aware of this week, so I just tried to come up with stories that I thought might be of interest to us all. So we're going to start with the AI eraser is coming to selected OnePlus phones. Got that on Android Central. And, you know, it's the same as Pixel Magic Eraser. So we didn't think we were going to get that, but OnePlus surprised us a couple of days ago, and it's coming. I think I may have it on the OnePlus 12 already because I got a new download. But I haven't had time to experiment with anything, just been too busy. Remember, I moved last week. I'm still catching up with that, of course. And busy with work. And, of course, busy with some videos. So that's the first story we're going to go over. And then I said change is likely coming to Google Chrome incognito mode. There was a few stories about the way Google has been handling our incognito mode and saving the data. So they're being sued. We'll go through it after. That was on Digital Trends. And then a lot of has been made about Apple not jumping into AI much, but now there's rumors all over the place that they're going to be giving us home robots. So Apple home robots with freedom of movement in the works. I pulled that from Tom's Guide, but there are a number of articles about it already. And also, I found this interesting story. Scammers use Google Play Store to lure marks to crypto swindle. That's I found on The Verge. And then I haven't used ChatGPT or any of the AI tools much. I haven't gotten excited about it. But there was a decent story. Want to use ChatGPT 3.5? Now you don't need an account to use that one. That's not the latest one, but it's close. So we're going to have that story from Tech Radar. And the last story is going to be your Galaxy S23 phone having issues after One UI 6.1 update, likely a temporary issue. And there's a few stories telling articles from other people saying do not download this update. I think it's kind of okay, but you'll see that in the story again from Tech Radar. So those are the stories we're going over tonight. And Alan's in here from Jersey City. So now we've got me from Jersey, Eleanor from Jersey, and Alan, who's actually in Jersey. So glad to have you here, brother. Right on time. And haven't heard anything from Ted. Now, remember, last week, Ted tried to come in a few times, but something about his Pixel phone I think it was the Pixel phone that he was using, wouldn't let him use the microphone. So don't know what the problem was there. But, oh, that's right. Alan said Earthquake City now. Yeah, it's not the first time, Alan. Earthquakes are very, very rare up there. I think the center was about, I guess from you, about 40 miles west of you. And I remember years ago, back in the 80s, when I used to, mostly in the 70s, I guess, when I used to deliver with trucks, especially in Jersey and New York City, the center of the earthquake was in one of the small towns that I used to deliver in, but it was only a 4.5, so I think it's mostly just shook up things. I haven't heard of anybody getting hurt or anything, so thank God for that. And I do remember when Eleanor and I moved out of Jersey in 89, I think in 90 or so, in West New York, which is where I'm from, New Jersey, there was an earthquake in West New York, and that had never happened in the 44 years I had lived there before that. So I guess it's rare, but it does happen. So anyway, it's not something that any of us from Jersey are used to, that's for sure. But of course, it shook New York City too. Now, if you're in Jersey City or West New York, anywhere along the river there, you're only about a half a mile from Manhattan across the river, or maybe 3/4 of a mile. So you're very close. So whatever we get in that part of North Jersey, they're getting in New York also. Okay, so if Ted does come in tonight, hopefully his audio will work, and I will bring him in and be very grateful about it. Meanwhile, I guess I'll start on tonight's stories. And if he doesn't come in, it'll probably be a pretty quick show. Although last week we did go a little past 9. So let's see how we do. And as always, I appreciate any contribution from all you guys in the comments. And I learn a lot from you guys too. All right, so I'm going to share tonight's stories, the show notes. Now, Alan said, yeah, it was wild. Yeah, that's because we're not used to that. Even mild earthquakes, we're not used to. So glad you don't see them much. Okay, so first story. AI eraser coming to select OnePlus phones. It turns out I believe I have 2 or 3 of the phones that it's coming to. But I took this from Android Central, so let's go over there. OnePlus reveals new Pixel-inspired AI feature by Nadika Ravi. This is published 3 days ago. AI eraser is set to make image editing easier. Like I said, I think I've got it downloaded. I just haven't had time to mess with it. Of course, I have messed with it on Pixel phones with Magic Eraser, and of course on Samsung phones also. So let's put this into reader view, get rid of some of these ads. AI is something that people hear a lot lately, with most smartphone companies leveraging the generative AI software and pushing it into every aspect of customers' lives. While Google and Samsung have taken the help on the smartphone front, taken the help? I think they must mean taking the lead. on the smartphone front, OnePlus is entering the game with its own AI feature. And did Reader View cut that sentence off? Let's see. Pop it out. No, it didn't. I guess they didn't finish that sentence. All right, back into Reader View. It just looked like it. Maybe Reader View had cut it off, but I guess it didn't. Okay. On Wednesday, April 3rd, OnePlus announced that it will be rolling out a new generative AI feature dubbed AI Eraser to several of its smartphones. This feature allows users to edit or erase unwanted elements in a photo. AI Eraser represents the first step in our vision to liberate user creativity. I love that phrase, liberate user creativity, through AI and revolutionize the future of photo editing, empowering users to create remarkable photos with just a few touches, says Kindy Liu, president and COO of OnePlus. Similar to the Magic Eraser, which first debuted on Google Pixel phones, OnePlus users can manually select and remove unwanted objects from images in the photo gallery. Now, of course, I'm wondering, with the Pixel phones, you can just touch some of them and you'll get the whole thing and be able to eliminate. And others, you have to draw around with your finger. So I'm wondering if you can just touch some, but I guess I'll find out when I have time to use it. Once the user highlights certain objects, such as pedestrians or imperfections in the image, the tool analyzes the selected area and automatically creates a replacement background that blends into the surrounding environment. So it sounds like you'll be able to just touch something and it'll just grab what it should grab because it analyzes it. Okay, yeah, here's an example. You can see the hands and stuff at the wedding, and now they're gone, of course. This isn't the first AI feature we've seen from OnePlus. Earlier this year, I think only, a couple of weeks ago, OnePlus rolled out an AI call summarizer as part of an Oxygen OS update. I think that was about 3 weeks ago, which listens to your phone call and summarizes it for your reference. However, this feature was only available to OnePlus 12 users, so of course I got it. The AI call summarizer could extract times, places, action items, and other key information from your conversation according to the changelog. Again, haven't had a chance to try it, but I know I got it. There's also Brino Touch, allowing users, that's a new one on me, allowing users to scan their screen for content and make suggestions for related services based on their search. Nicole Zhang, General Manager of AI Products at OnePlus, says that all OnePlus AI features are built from genuine user needs, and we will continue to invest heavily in developing more revolutionary AI-based features that move us closer to our vision for a more convenient future for all. So since she says they're built from genuine user needs, I guess that's where the Brino Touch came in. I guess they felt like users needed that. So just wanted to go over that. So, I don't have any of my, I do have my OnePlus Nord N30 tonight, but this phone is not getting it. Did we go over which ones are? Oh, it's up here. AI Eraser made its debut in global markets on the OnePlus 11, OnePlus 12, OnePlus 12R, OnePlus Open, and even the most recent Nord CE4. So I don't have the Nord CE4, but I do have the 12 and the Open. So any of you that have the OnePlus phones, if you have any of those 5, you're going to get the new AI features. So let me drop this out. Anything new? Nothing new in the comments. So we will go on to the next story. And this was kind of I guess somewhat of a big deal because there is a suit going on. It's a class action suit too. I just said changes likely coming to Google Chrome incognito mode I got it from Digital Trends, but like I said, there was a few articles written about it this week. So let's go take a look. Google's incognito mode is in trouble. That's how Fiona Agoma said it. So, and this came out 3 days ago. So let me go into incognito mode. Google could soon be on the hook for deleting the private data of millions if the proposed settlement of a class action lawsuit is approved, according to The Verge. The settlement proposal is part of the Brown versus Google lawsuit, for which the tech giant has agreed to destroy or de-identify the web browsing data it has saved from people utilizing the incognito mode feature on the Google Chrome browser. I wouldn't have thought they would have saved it in the first place, but what do I know? Google would be responsible for deleting billions of records and making sure undeletable records are not associated with individual users. While the proposal was filed in California federal court on Monday, the lawsuit has been ongoing since 2020, so it's been going for 4 years already. Google is accused of not making users aware of the extent to which their data could still be accessed in incognito mode. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know they could save our data in incognito mode. I should have figured that out. Users believe Google gave an unclear explanation of the purpose of its private browsing mechanism to illegally track individuals. And that's what I would have thought, that they couldn't track you or they weren't tracking you. Like I said, should have known better. The company disagreed, noting that Google, internet service providers, and employers have always been able to potentially view and collect data from your Chrome browser history, even in incognito mode. Yes, the implication just sounds like they shouldn't be able to. In January, journalists found a canary build of an updated incognito mode that more clearly spells out the stipulations, which is, I guess, why that suit came down in January, of what is hidden when you enter the browsing state. Even so, 136 million Google users stand to benefit from this case if the settlement proposal is approved. Google will have to destroy or de-identify the data it has collected from users browsing under the incognito mode from December 2023 and earlier, so going back a long ways, I'm sure. Other stipulations to the agreement include Google agreeing to block third-party cookies by default in incognito mode, which you would think they would have done all along. This will prevent the company from being able to track users on third-party websites when they're supposed to be untraceable. I agree. That's how it should have been all along, in my opinion. Despite the $5 billion valuation of the proposal, users will not receive financial damages in this case in exchange for changes Google is making to its data and policy. Yeah, and I don't think anybody should be expecting money. They should just be expecting to get rid of their personal data. However, you can file claims for damages in California state court on your own as per the settlement terms. So far, 50 known claims have been filed. So hopefully they'll win that case and Google will have to give up all that, delete that data. So just again, one of those interesting stories that I think should interest us all. And let's see. And Mr. Mario's here. Good to see you, Mario. Very glad you're here. Always glad whenever you get the time to come in. I'm very well, sir. So glad you came in. Right now, it's just me. Not sure if Ted or anybody's going to join in, but just gone over 2 stories so far. I said no earth-shaking stories this week, so I just found stories that I thought might be of interest to all of us tech heads. So just got through the second one. Now we're on to the third. Yeah, all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, or yesterday, there was a lot of reports about this. I said Apple home robots with freedom of movement in the works, ? I took it from Tom's Guide, so we'll go check it out there. Now, check this title. If this isn't my kind of humor, I don't know what is. This is Siri Us. Apple reportedly working on home robots. That's my kind of humor all the way. Could home robots be the next iPhone? And this was by Dave LeClaire, published 2 days ago. So I'm going to drop it into reader view, get rid of some of these ads as usual. Okay. Forget the Apple car. The next big thing for Apple could be in the world of home robots. According to a Bloomberg report, Apple is working on a robot that will follow users around their homes and help with little tasks. It sounds a bit like Amazon Astro here, certainly does, which we've seen shown off at a few different events over the last few years. That's right. If Apple is actually working on such a product, it could be an arms race to see which company can hit the market with its robot first. Amazon clearly has a considerable head start, as it's already started showing off its product, while Apple's offering is still in its early stages. It's so early, in fact, that it might not suffer a fate similar to that of the company's electric car and never see the light of day. And it's not just Apple and Amazon, as a startup called Figure is working on giving ChatGPT a body that can even hand you a glass of water. It's clear that robotics is going to be the next big thing, but whether it'll be Apple's next big thing remains to be seen. Of course, first isn't everything. It'll also come down to who can do it better, and that's where Apple's usually good at stuff. As an expensive product like a personal assistant robot will need to be done well. Apple is also reportedly working on an advanced tabletop device that uses robotics to move a display around, further pushing the company into the smart home and robotic space. So kind of exciting stuff, I guess, when Apple comes out with these. According to the report, Apple's robotics department is happening within Apple's hardware engineering division, so they didn't create a separate division. And its AI and machine learning group, Matt Costello and Brian Lynch, executives currently working on Apple's home products, are said to be working on the project. I guess that means they're heading it. Upgrade your life. Oh, never mind. Apple declined to comment on the project, which isn't entirely surprising. Yeah, Apple does like to keep stuff secret, as we said last week, as the company would want to make a splash by announcing its jump into home robotics with a significant event, as it typically does. That's true. According to the Bloomberg report, the original concept for the robot was a device that could navigate entirely on its own without human intervention. That's interesting, like the car, and serve as a video conferencing tool. Apple is apparently also exploring the ability for robots to handle chores like cleaning dishes, but that could be a decade away. Yeah, that sounds pretty expensive to me. This all comes hot on the heels of Apple showing off the Mixed Reality Vision Pro headset. It's clear the company isn't content with releasing iPhones, iPads, and Macs for the foreseeable future. So a jump into home robotics makes a lot of sense for the firm. I agree. The company has been seeking the next big thing since Steve Jobs was in charge of the firm, and home robotics could be just that, absolutely. Or it could be something people deem too weird to keep in their homes. Only time will tell. So, just very interesting stuff. I'm sure an Apple robot would get a lot of people excited, and I'm sure they'd pay whatever Apple decided to pay for it, which I'm sure it won't be cheap. You can count on that. So, okay, and nothing else new in the comments. So we'll continue on. Looks like it's going to be a quick night. So I just found interesting story on The Verge. You're not going to see this one everywhere, I don't think. Scammers use Google Play Store to lure marks to crypto swindle. So Let's head over to The Verge. Google sues alleged crypto scammers for luring people into investments they'd never get back. Shouldn't they also go to jail? I would think. That's my opinion. Google accused 2 app developers of using romance scams to get victims to download fraudulent investment apps deceptively uploaded to the Play Store. And this is by Lauren Feiner and published yesterday. So let's go into review. Google is suing 2 alleged crypto scammers, accusing them of using its Play Store to offer fraudulent cryptocurrency trading apps and investment platforms that instead simply took users' money. These apps were using a type of romance scam commonly called pig butchering. I never heard of that, in reference to fattening a pig before it's slaughtered. The accused scammers, 2 app developers based in China and Hong Kong, allegedly uploaded 87 different fraudulent apps to enable their schemes, luring in more than 100,000 people who downloaded them. That's a lot. Based on user complaints, Google alleges that users lost anywhere from $100 to tens of thousands of dollars each. Apps uploaded by the pair and their unnamed associates have been used in versions of the scam since at least 2019. So 5 years? 5 years? Yeah, 5 years, according to Google. So based on what they're saying here, I don't think I don't think Google has any idea how much money they got away with, but obviously a lot. Google says it's the first company of its peers to take this kind of action. It already shut down the apps on the Play Store once it determined they were fraudulent. This litigation is a critical step in holding these bad actors accountable and sending a clear message that we will aggressively pursue those who seek to take advantage of our users. Let's put them in jail, too. I think that's a good idea. Google's general counsel, Halima Delane Prado, said in a statement, Google says it was also harmed by the scheme because it threatens the integrity of its App Store, I agree, and diverted resources to detect and disrupt the operation. Yeah, I'm sure they spent money tracking these people down. The company says it suffered economic damages of more than $75,000 investigating the fraud. Makes sense. Here's how the alleged scam worked. According to Google's complaint, the developers would make fake The developers would make fake cryptocurrency exchange and investment apps, misrepresenting them to the Play Store as legitimate investing apps and allegedly misrepresenting details like their location so they could be uploaded. Then the alleged scammers or their associates, I don't know how many people were working with them, it doesn't tell us that, would lure users to the platforms through a mix of romance scam messages and YouTube videos. While this kind of scam is often referred to as pig butchering, Google says in a footnote to its complaint that it doesn't adopt or endorse the term, so they don't even want to be associated with that term. The initial text they would send might look familiar to anyone who received text spam messages like, I am Sophia, do you remember me? Or, I miss you all the time. How are your parents, Mike? Boy, oh boy. According to the complaint, if they got a response, the alleged scammers would apparently try to start a conversation and eventually move it to a platform like WhatsApp before convincing their new friend to download one of the fraudulent apps and put money into it. The developers or their associates would also at times convince alleged victims that they could earn commission by hawking the apps themselves. So now they're getting them to advertise them for them as affiliates of the platforms, according to the complaint. Once users were on the apps, the developers made the platforms look convincing by showing a balance and returns on investments, Google alleges. Wow. The only problem, users couldn't take their money out. Yeah, that would make you suspicious. At times, the apps would let them take out small amounts of money, according to Google, or would require a fee or minimum balance to make a withdrawal. They require a fee to make a withdrawal. Okay. Ultimately, scamming some out of even more money. Google is accusing the developers of breaking its terms of service, you think, and violating the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. That's why I said they belong in jail. It's asking the court to block them from committing further fraud and award Google an unspecified amount in damage. And I'm pretty sure they couldn't put the one in China in jail, but the other one, the other one's in Hong Kong. Well, yeah, that's China now too. So I guess they couldn't put either one of them in jail. So low down people, and here's Don. Hey, Don, glad to have you here, brother. Now we got Tech. We not have Ted here, but we got Dallas represented anyway, so that's good. Okay. So watch out for these phony apps, these phony crypto apps. All right, back on a review out of this one. Nothing else new other than Don. So we're going to go on. And this was just interesting how they've opened it up a bit. Want to use Chat GPT 3.5? No account needed. So this was just interesting. You don't even have to sign up for an account now to use it. And this was on Tech Radar. Chat GPT just took a big step towards becoming the next Google. Yeah, that's kind of overstating it, I think, with its new account-free version. Chat GPT 3.5 chat freely, now with no strings attached. And this was by Christina Tarek, published 3 days ago. So, as usual, back into reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Okay. The most widely available and free version of ChatGPT 3.5, is being made available to use without having to create and log into a personal account. Yeah, up until now, you had to create an account. Otherwise, you couldn't use it. So this should attract more people. That means you can now have conversations with the AI chatbot without it being tied to personal details like your email. However, OpenAI, the tech organization behind ChatGPT, limits what users can do without registering for an account, so you don't have full-blown access. For example, unregistered users will be limited in the kinds of questions they can ask and in their access to advanced features. So I guess it's just trying to get you to try it out. This means there are still some benefits to making and using a ChatGPT account, especially if you're a regular user. Yeah, if I was a regular user, I could see that. OpenAI writes in an official blog post that this change is intended to make it easy for people to try out ChatGPT, makes sense, and get a taste of what modern AI can do without going through the sign-up process. In its announcement post on April 1st, OpenAI explained that it's rolling out the change gradually. So if you want to try it for yourself and can't yet, don't panic. When speaking to PC Mag, an OpenAI spokesperson explained that this change is in the spirit of OpenAI's overall mission to make it easier for people to experience ChatGPT and the benefits of AI. To create an OpenAI account or not to create an OpenAI account. If you don't want your entries into the AI chatbot to be tied to the details you would have to disclose when setting up an account, such as your birthday, phone number, and email address, then this is a great development. That said, lots of people create dummy accounts to be able to use app and web services, so I don't think it's that hard to circumvent. But you'd have to have multiple emails and phone numbers to burn for this purpose. That's probably true. OpenAI does have a disclaimer that states that it is storing your inputs in to potentially use to improve ChatGPT by default, whether you're signed in or not, which I suspected was the case. So they're still copying your data. It also states that you can turn this off via ChatGPT settings. I always wonder about that. And this can be done whether you have an account or not. At least they say so. If you do choose to make an account, you get some useful benefits, including being able to see your previous conversations with the chatbot, link others to specific conversations you've had, make use of the newly introduced voice conversational features, custom instructions, and the ability to upgrade to ChatGPT Plus, the premium subscription tier of ChatGPT, which allows users to use GPT-4, its latest large language model. If you decide not to create an account and forego these features, you can expect to see the same chat interface that users with accounts use. OpenAI will also be putting in additional content safeguards for users who aren't logged in, detailing that it's put in measures to block prompts and generated responses in more categories and topics. Its announcement post didn't include any examples of the types of topics or categories that will get this treatment. However, you think they should have put that in, or hopefully they will. An invitation to users of power play to rivals. I think this is an interesting change that will possibly tempt more people to try ChatGPT. And when they try it for the first time, it can seem pretty impressive. Yeah, I think I tried it once and it was very early on, so it wasn't too great. But that was last year even, back in November. It allows OpenAI to give users a glimpse of its capabilities, which I imagine will convince some people to make accounts and access its additional features. Yeah, I'm sure there are people who are just going to like it right off the bat and sign right up. This will continue expanding ChatGPT's user pool that may choose to go on and become ChatGPT Plus paid subscribers. Perhaps this is a strategy that will pay off for OpenAI. I would think it would. And it might institute a sort of pass it down approach to the tiers as it introduces new generations of its models. Sure, and then people probably pass it on to other people through word of mouth. This easier user accessibility could mean the type of user growth that could see OpenAI become as commonplace as Google products. Yeah, you hope in the near future. One of Google's searcher's appeals, for example, is that you could just fire up your browser and make a query in an instant. It's a user-centric way of doing things. And if OpenAI can do something similar by making it that easy to use ChatGPT, then things could get seriously interesting. Yep. So, again, another story I just thought might be interesting to some of us tech heads. So, out of here, nothing new in the comments. I will go on. And this is my last story for the evening. And I said, your Galaxy S23 phone having issues after One UI 6.1 update? Likely a temporary issue. I said, I've seen 3 or 4 articles that say don't download the 6.1 update. I did on my S23 Ultra. It's fine. None of these issues. But let's go into Tech Radar and check it out. Samsung Galaxy S23 users complain of totally unresponsive touchscreens after One UI 6.1 update. Like I said, I've gotten the update and have had no issues. These people have specific issues, especially, you'll see. One UI 6.1 is causing more problems for older Samsung phones, and it's the entire S23 series, not just one. So this was published by Axel Metz 2 days ago. So let's go to review. Oh, yeah, there's an update. Samsung has now shared temporary fix. Yeah, I didn't see that fix anywhere in here for the One UI 6.1 issue described below. The rest of the article remains as originally published. Originally, it was Samsung's big One UI 6.1 update is now available to download on older Samsung phones, but several Galaxy S23 users are reporting that the AI-focused upgrade has done more harm to their devices than good. Hasn't hurt mine in the slightest, as far as I can tell. I don't have it with me today, but I used it all day yesterday and no issues at all. And that was after I got the update. As per recent posts on Reddit and Samsung's own community forum, One UI 6.1 has wreaked havoc on touchscreen functionality of certain Galaxy S23, 23 Plus, and 23 Ultra devices. Some users claim their displays are now totally unresponsive, while others say the touchscreen functionality is limited to the S Pen, and we're going to see why. The latest complaint comes just a few days after some Samsung fans blamed One UI 6.1 for causing slower charging speeds on their Galaxy devices. Yeah, that's one a lot of people seem to be having. I don't think I have that at all, but I used mine all day yesterday, but of course I didn't charge it until last night, so I didn't use it today. We've already detailed why that particular issue is likely nothing to worry about long term, and we suspect that the same is true of this new touchscreen issue. Allow us to explain. So this is why this guy doesn't think any of this is a big deal. We've reviewed hundreds. Oh, no, not there. For starters, a fair portion of these complaints are coming from users whose Galaxy S23 phones, get this, are fitted with non-OEM screens, which is another way of saying they're not original parts. If it turns out that this touchscreen issue is exclusive to these type of screens, then the vast majority of Samsung Galaxy S23 users have nothing to worry about. Of course, Samsung will still need to address the issue for affected third-party screens through future firmware updates, and if your Galaxy S23 screen is among that number, it seems as though rolling your device back or downgrading to One UI 6 will reverse the problem. Sure, that isn't ideal, but it's a temporary solution. Growing pains. That said, not every complaining user has disclosed whether their Galaxy S23 screen is original or not. So we can't say for sure whether this touchscreen issue is limited to non-OEM parts. If it isn't, then we're inclined to think it's happening as a result of normal update-related growing pains, which is pretty normal, I would think. What do we mean by that? Well, when any software developer pushes out a major OS update, phones often need to re-index data, and they'll show you that sometimes, and recalibrate their settings to reckon with the new demands of that update. New updates trigger a slew of app-specific updates too. That's true, it's dealing with a lot of apps, which can put even more strain on the device's chipset. But once these apps have freshened themselves up, and this is the key, with the latest version of a particular OS, these slowdown issues typically subside. Think of it as an update-induced hangover. Indeed, that looks to be the case with the Galaxy S23 and One UI 6.1. I noticed that the bottom of my screen was not responsive after downloading 6.1, but it worked once all apps were fully optimized. And that's true. You always see that it's optimizing after that kind of update. One comment reads underneath that aforementioned Samsung community post. So you noticed it wasn't responsive until after it was optimized. I guess it was fine after that. This is not a permanent problem, at least for me. A restart will resolve it, but wait for apps to be optimized after initial restart before forcing a restart. So there you have it. If your Galaxy S23 device has been affected by this frustrating touchscreen issues since downloaded One UI 6.1, we'd suggest waiting a day or two before triggering a reset. Some of these people are probably just panicking and hopefully resolving the problem. As some users have noted, you may be stuck using the S Pen to navigate your phone. So it might be just screen protectors causing some of this in the meantime. But we think that it's a better strategy than removing One UI 6.1 altogether. Yeah, using your S Pen until it straightens itself out, it'll probably be fine. In any case, if the issue does turn out to be more sinister, Samsung will surely roll out a comprehensive software patch in the coming weeks. And that's what the update was telling you, that Samsung has rolled out a temporary fix. Now, where that fix is, see what happens if I click here. Okay, so there's another story about the temporary fix. So anyone interested, just go ahead and click on that link right at the top of the article. So, just an interesting article. Like I said, I've already done my update, had no issues whatsoever. So it's only happened. And of course, I don't use screen protectors at all. So if screen protectors are causing the issue, obviously I'm not going to get it. Let me stop screen. So I have gotten through all of the stories for tonight, folks. And I told you, being by myself, it would probably be a quick night. And yeah, we've been in here just over 46 minutes. So I've gotten through my 6 stories. Hopefully, like I said, nothing heavy duty this week, but hopefully some of these articles interested you guys, because I think all you guys are pretty much tech heads like I am. So I always try to give you guys something you haven't seen everywhere else. And like I said, if you're new here, please come back next week. We do this every Friday. And if you haven't subscribe to the channel, please do so. And I'm very grateful that you're here. And of course, thank you to my regulars, Eleanor, Brian, Alan, Mario. Mario's been coming in more often lately. Appreciate it very much, sir. And Don, I know you're busy, so I'm always appreciative when you get in here too. So that's it for tonight, folks. Remember, I moved last week, so I'm still in the process of getting my apartment straightened out, but things are going well, and I'm very happy with it. So I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend, and let's always remember we all do better when we love each other. See you next week, folks. Hopefully with at least Ted. See you.